Hey, how's it going, guys? Mr. Boss for the win here, and in today's Grand Theft Auto 5 video, I'm going to be talking to you guys about some pretty cool features and details of the unreleased vehicles. So I'm only going to be talking about the 3 cars today, as I feel like I did a pretty good job of covering all the unique aspects of the aircrafts in a video I did the other day. And to be very honest with you, there isn't a whole lot of unique aspects that Rockstar can do with the aircrafts. They can more so do that with the vehicles. So we're going to be looking at the 3 remaining unreleased cars: the Vigilante, which is the Batmobile, we have the Coil Cyclone, and then the Rapid GT Classic. So let's actually start with one of the supercars that's going to be arriving, the Coil Cyclone. Now, the first thing you need to know about this vehicle is it's completely electric. So that's cool for a couple reasons. Number one, we don't, I think, have any electric supercars in the game. And number two, we don't have many electric cars in the game in general. So this car automatically is pretty rare based off of the company it's in. But because this vehicle is electric, it is completely silent. I am not even joking. So you can't hear the engine, obviously, at all. The only thing you'll hear are like the tires skidding and stuff like that. I'll let you guys take a listen to it right now. It's pretty crazy. So something like this from a supercar definitely takes some getting used to when going from the XA21, which essentially is growling at you the whole time, to this, which is completely silent. I mean, you could hear a feather drop while driving this car. So it is definitely something to get used to, just in terms of the way a car drives, because when you press the accelerator and brake and everything like that, you expect to hear a ton of different noises. And in this car, it's very quiet, which is really unusual for a supercar. So that's kind of the first thing that made me kind of turn my head a little bit with this vehicle. All right, moving on, let's go to some of the customization. Now, I'm not going to be discussing like what customization looks the best or is the best. I did a live stream on that. However, one thing that is bothering me about this car is you're unable to remove the rear carbon diffuser. I've never liked it when Rockstar have made permanent options on vehicles that should be customization options. So on the back of the Cyclone is a permanently fixed carbon diffuser, and I personally don't think it looks good, and I would love the option to take it off. However, I don't have the ability to. Rockstar did that with the Italy GTB Custom as well, and I'm not a fan of it. So I'm not sure why that's the case, but in case you don't love carbon items or carbon diffusers, there's a lot of carbon fiber on this vehicle, and you might not be a fan of it necessarily. So that is something you actually cannot remove. Now, this car does have liveries, which I think is pretty unique. I think there's about 8 or 9 of them in total. Now, one of the unique things about these liveries is it actually changes more than just the exterior paint job. If we take a look at the back, you can see the engine kind of valves, tubing, and piping. It is actually changed based off of what you do to the livery. So for example, with the white stripes one, those pipings become white. If we change that to red, they become red, blue and blue, black and black, etc. So I think that's pretty unique, and that's a nice little extra feature that the livery does to the Coil Cyclone. Now, let's move on to the paint job of this car. So there's 3 colors: primary, secondary, and trim. The primary color, very self-explanatory. It just changes the exterior color of the car. Nothing unique or different there. However, the secondary color is very unique. So the secondary color obviously changes the secondary color of the exterior, but it also changes a couple other things. Number one, it changes the color of the brake calipers, which I think is actually pretty cool. So if you want to do like a funky colored brake caliper, then you probably want to do an exotic secondary color to go along with it. Now, another thing it changes is the trim color on the inside of the car. So there is a separate category for trim color, but if you want to change the actual trim on the vehicle itself, well, you're going to have to do that with the secondary color. Now, that's not the only thing the secondary color does, as it will actually change the entire color of the engine piping and valves itself. So as you can see here, I'm rotating between orange and ultra blue, and it actually changes the color of them, which is pretty awesome. So I love the fact that Rockstar is giving the secondary color here different things to do on the vehicle, which can lead to some very, very unique customization options. So I do like that a lot. And if you change the secondary color and then add a livery on top of it, well, they'll kind of just stack on top of each other, which again is pretty cool. Now, after that, you do have the trim color, which just changes bits bits of the inside. You can kind of see it does some effects on the steering wheel, the dash, more of like the glove box area, and on the sides. So that is pretty cool, and those are the three colors for this vehicle. Now, if we move on to the wheels of this vehicle, they can actually not be changed with the iFruit app. Because guess what? They're chrome, and whenever a vehicle has chrome wheels as its stock, it can't be changed with the iFruit app. So unfortunately, these wheels are cool, but there's no way in which you're going to be able to change the color to like black or white or something like that. So that's kind of unfortunate. Now, something else I can tell you guys about this is if you want to change the window tint of your car, well, be careful doing that, because if you do, it's going to tint that entire back window that shows off that beautiful engine with the coil writing logo and all the colored piping and whatnot. So unfortunately, if you want, tinted side windows, you're going to have to sacrifice that view in the back, which might make people not want to do that. So just be careful if you are tinting the vehicle, as if you do so, you're going to lose access to that pretty cool view in the back. Now, the last thing about this vehicle that's kind of driving me crazy is the license plate. So it's actually squished horizontally. So the Ardent had this same thing. It was stretched horizontally. This one is smaller horizontally, and I don't know why. Why Rockstar can't just do a normal looking license plate, I'm not sure. Maybe this has something to do with the real-life variant of this car, which is, I believe, the Rimac Concept 1. So if it does have a squished license plate, then I guess that makes sense. But to me, it just looks a little out of place compared to some of the others. But that is all the secret details and features regarding this new supercar, the Coil Cyclone. All right, let's move on to another vehicle, and that is the Rapid GT Classic. So the first thing I noticed about this beautiful vehicle is the custom interior. The wood paneling, the dials, the gauges, everything like that is really exquisite. Rockstar did an amazing job with this custom interior for this car. However, probably my favorite feature is those 4 yellow lights in between the 2 gauges. So when you turn off your vehicle and when you get in the vehicle for the first time, you'll actually notice that each individual one lights up depending on what you're doing, starting the engine, killing the engine. And that's just a really little detail, but I found that to be ultra cool. And I think that is a super cool thing that Rockstar has done. And for me, the little things often make the car. So that's a nice added bonus for this vehicle. Okay, moving on. This vehicle has a lot of liveries, which is awesome. There's 2 in particular, though, that something bothers me a little bit. Now, this might be my OCD just kicking in, but on the Zero Gas black and white, on the passenger side, the Zero Gas logo is cut off because it's on one of the hazard side lights. So why is that the case? Because if we go over to the driver's side, well, it's perfectly aligned. So this is the same way on the white one as well. This is not the first time we've seen Rockstar kind of mess up on liveries like this. A lot of the import-export vehicles like the Comet Retro Custom, the Nero Custom, had livery errors like this as well. So this doesn't seem to be a trend that has stopped, as they have continued this on this vehicle. Again, that might not bother you at all, but it is something that bothers me. So if that does end up bothering you, then you probably don't want to apply that livery, as if you look at it on the passenger side, you'll definitely be able to tell that it is slightly different. Now, this vehicle also does have 3 colors: primary, secondary, and trim. However, there isn't anything unique. Primary and secondary stick to the outside of the car and don't really change anything, and then trim color just impacts the interior. The only thing the secondary color is going to do that might be unique is the color of the roll cage. So if you wanted to change that, it is going to match the color of the roll cage. But other than that, pretty simple colors. And as far as inside the customization shop, the only other thing you might need to be aware about is the wheels. So you might be looking at those stock wheels and say, whoa, those look similar. I wish I could change the color of those. Well, you don't even have to do any fancy iFruit editing, because if you go to Muscle and then go down to Muscle Freak, you'll notice that they are the exact same wheels, and then you can change them to whatever you want and then add custom tires to it as well if that's something you wanted to do. So that's pretty simple, and that's how you can change up the stock wheels for the brand new Rapid GT Classic. Now, something else I really like about this vehicle is 2 unique things regarding the lights. Number 1 is that all the lights actually work, which is kind of ironic that I'm actually having to say that, but sometimes Rockstar will add extra lights on these vehicles and then not allow them to work. So you can choose normal lighting, and then you can choose the bright lights, and you'll actually see the bright lights turn on and you get extra lights with the vehicle, which is, again, another feature that may seem silly, but I actually enjoy, because sometimes Rockstar ignore that, and that actually kind of bothers me. And then there's actually a customization feature where you can cover up the headlights, and I was wondering to myself, well, does this actually work? And yeah, it does, because if you apply apply that feature and then you go and turn on the lights, well, you'll notice that with the regular ones, they don't turn on. You actually have to turn on the brights in order to get any lights that function with this vehicle with that customization option. So I thought that that was pretty cool and very unique, and it made this vehicle just have a nice little touch that I thought was going to be really cool. I actually can't wait for this vehicle to be added into the game. All right, and finally, but certainly last but not least, we have the Vigilante, which is the Batmobile. So a couple things about the Batmobile that you need to know about. Number one, it is not bullet resistant. So the glass on there is not bulletproof. You'll be able to shoot through it like nothing. However, it does come stock with bulletproof wheels. Now, it does have the most unique tires on there, probably out of any vehicle we've seen, but they're bulletproof by default, which is actually quite nice, so they can't be shot out by police or NPCs or other players. Unfortunately, this vehicle is not armor resistant, though. Even though it is massive, it is menacing, it cannot survive a sticky bomb, which is a little bit unfortunate. I thought it would have at least been able to survive one, but I guess at the end of the day, it's not an armored vehicle. However, probably the biggest bummer with the Vigilante is the fact that it needs a mobile operation center in order to be modified, which will already increase the already expensive cost of this vehicle. So if you don't have an MOC, you won't really be able to upgrade the armor, the basic things on this vehicle. Now, there's not a ton of upgrades for the Vigilante. You can't add any bumper or spoiler options. The only thing you can do is apply the basic upgrades, armor, transition, engine, stuff like that. However, you can upgrade to missiles. So by default, the vehicle has 7.62 machine guns on there. You can actually upgrade to homing missiles, which is really cool. Now, one unique thing that we actually found about this, my friend Shark and I, is that it looks like it has unlimited missiles, because when I was just shooting them, they just kept refilling over and over and over again when I ran out, which might actually make it a little bit different from something like the Oppressor or the Ruiner 2000, which had a very limited amount. So as you can tell already, the Vigilante has a boost on the back. Now it seems to regenerate faster than the Oppressor and faster than the Rocket Voltic, and when it regenerates, you'll actually know that it's complete, as the flame in the back will turn completely blue. So if you don't want to try and pay attention to that tiny little yellow bar in your minimap, you'll know it's ready to rock and roll once it's fully blue again. It also will only regenerate when it is on the ground and when all four wheels are on the ground too. So if you're upside down or part of your wheels are on a car, it won't start to regenerate. And the last two things I love about this vehicle are kind of cosmetic. One of them is the interior. It looks absolutely amazing. It's got like these different gauges and dials and screens that are all bright red, which look really, really great at night. So I think the interior looks amazing. And then the lights too. So they're sort of these retro pop-up style lights, and they look awesome, but they're also flush on the vehicle as well. So what I mean by that is you can't really tell the lights are there until they actually pop up, which is really cool. Another great feature I love about this vehicle. But anyways, that's all the information that I'm going to be talking about for you guys in this video today. Hopefully you did enjoy, and hopefully you learned about some pretty cool features of the upcoming 3 cars that could be released within the next couple weeks, could be released within the next couple months. We don't really know the release order, so it's going to be up to Rockstar to determine how they release it and when they release it. But that's, like I said, all I've got for you guys in this video today. Let me know which of these 3 is your favorite in the comment section down below. I'd love to hear from you guys down there. If you did go and enjoy this video, though, a like rating would, of course, be awesome. And also, subscribe to my YouTube channel if you are new or you like daily GTA 5 videos like this. With all the way, guys, like I said, thanks so much for watching. Take care, and I'll see you guys in the next video.